Everyone, welcome to Success Stories. My name is Nick Thomas. I direct partnerships here at Sold.com. We're always looking for engaged agents and brokers that use Sold.com to fuel their business. So today I'm here with Darren James, and tell us a little about your brokerage and where your farm area is.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Nick, for having me. I really appreciate it, man. It's going to be a great interview today, and hopefully I can provide a lot of value to the listeners and so forth to really enhance the Sold.com brand, but also show the value of Sold.com because it's absolutely an amazing tool that we use in our arsenal to help us generate a lot of business. So looking forward to being here.
Great, great. I mean, let's start out with your journey. How did you get started in real estate?
Absolutely, that's a great question. So originally worked with the Louisiana State Police, and I was doing patrol stuff and all that. My captain asked me, he said, Darren, he said, I want you to go into investigations. I'm like, fantastic. My wife had just had a new baby at the house, so it was a much safer environment for me as far as that goes. And I'm thinking, okay, I get to get off the road, don't have to do the nights and weekends type deal. It's a much safer environment. It's just a win all the way around. Well, what I didn't take into consideration was that I was losing $500 a month in my income because I couldn't work all the overtime details that I was working. Well, not knowing where the world was going to take me, or where the Lord was going to lead me at that point, I knew that my career was with state police at the time, and so long into the story short, or for me, like a lot of people tell me, Darren, it's the short end of the story. Long for you because I get long-winded a lot of times. But I ended up working three jobs to make ends meet. I was working at a local Office Max supply store, doing that deal. I took a job at Academy Sports on Airline Highway in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, stocking shelves till Saturdays and Sundays, and then working 8 to 4:30 in law enforcement. And I said, Lord, there's got to be a better way. And I walked in my half bathroom, Nick. I was at one of the lowest points in my life at that time. I remember it as I think back on it today. And I hit my knees. I said, Lord, life's not supposed to be this hard. Just show me some direction. And I got up and I went to my primary bathroom, and I saw this magazine. And the magazine was a success magazine. It said, real estate, get your fair share in Arizona, or something to that effect. And I'm like, well, I'm not moving to Arizona, but maybe I should try real estate. So I called a local mom and pop shop. They didn't hire part-time agents. She said, get out the phone book. I'm thumbing through the phone book at that time. This is in 2000. And going through the phone book, going through the yellow pages, came across the C's, Coldwell Banker, got my start there, really big in the business, and kind of grew from there. I ended up staying there 6 years part-time, well full-time, no, part-time 6 years, doing it. 52 houses a year is what I was selling when I left there on a part-time basis, and just kind of grew from there. So it's been an unbelievable journey for me, and it's been unbelievable, a lot of wins for me throughout the process of the lives I've been able to change and the people that I've been able to lead to get to their next step in their journey.
So it sounds like you had some early success, closing 50 homes a year. What do you think it was in those first few years that allowed you to be so successful?
That's a great question as well. I realized, when I first got started, nobody knew who I was. I was just brand new, just like every other agent out there. You got to start somewhere, right, to grow anything. And so I looked at it. I knew that it came down to three things: mindset, skill set, and daily habits. And that was really important. So I had the right mindset. I believed I could do it. I went to real estate school. I learned how to do it. And so the daily habits is really what set me apart from everybody else. One of my slogans that I have now is late to bed, early to rise, work like no other, and advertise. And so that's one of the slogans that I run right now. And so it's been that way ever since. And so systems and duplication, to answer your question directly, is what started out. I started out, I was one of the first people back in the day to use something called a talking house in my area. I became known as a talking house radio guy. And basically, if you ever driven around, Nick, and you see the Christmas lights that go to the music, and you can tune your radio station and listen to the thing as the Christmas lights do their little dance or whatever. That's similar to what it was. I had a radio. I had basically an FM transmitter that was in the house, basically the size of a VCR back then, and I would make a 3-minute message about my home, and they could tune their radio station to 1610, 1600, or whatever a clear frequency was, and hear all about the features of the house. And so I became known as the Talking House radio guy, and that was some of the systems that I did, and people could hear it all around, and just kind of grew from that point forward. But it came down to systems duplication. It didn't matter if it was a $50,000 home or a $50 million home. If it was important to that person, it was important to me, and I wanted to do whatever I can to help them get to that next journey, as I mentioned earlier. So.
And that's really interesting. You found kind of like your niche, which was like, every client's the same to me. I'm going to be working hard. which I don't think is that unique, but it's also like shows a lot of integrity and ethical business. However, you did find a unique spot with the radio. So, I think that's super, super important for agents when they're starting out to find that place that makes them unique and allows homeowners to choose to work with them. When did the transition happen from when you were a single agent to growing a brokerage?
That's great question as well. So in 2006, I hired my first assistant. I knew that I had to be bigger. And I'll tell you what happened. So 2006, I list this house, and I was the first person in my area to ever have a wrapped vehicle. So I wrapped my vehicle in 2002 with my picture on the side of it, all that kind of stuff. And so uh, I'll show you what my vehicle has looked like.
You wrapped your vehicle? You don't seem like that kind of person. Someone calling on the radio waves.
Oh yeah, yes. I wrapped my car, man, and did that deal, and it was kind of interesting the way it worked. But I'm actually in the process of buying three automobiles now for my three top producers this year,
They're
and
they're still it's wrapped, and the top producers are going to wrap their car too.
yeah. So this is what my one of my ones did, most recent one did right
Oh
there.
wow,
The
that
Range,
isn't just a regular wrap. That
that's a Land Rover. Yeah, that's a real deal. And
you don't
so
see those very often in real estate.
yeah, that's right. So I'll show you. Let me see if I can find the other one. I'm just trying to give the audience an idea of what it kind of looks like in real life. Let me see if I can find a picture of it real quick here. I know you can edit it. Here's what I currently drive. That's what I currently drive.
Oh wow,
Yeah. So
that's
anyway,
cool.
so I was one of the first ones to do that in my area, right? And so the way that worked is after I did the wrap vehicle, I was driving in the neighborhood. I had a house I just put on the market in there, and I was showing the property to a buyer, single agent at the time. My seller calls me up. She says, "Hey Darren," she says, "I noticed that you're in my neighborhood." I said, "Yes, ma'am. I'm doing some showings right now." I said, "Would you mind if I call you back after I get finished with the showing?" She said, "Sure." So I call her back after I get finished with those showings, and she said, "Hey, I saw you were in my neighborhood, and I'm just curious." She said, Why didn't you show my house?" And I didn't know how to answer that question. I said, "Well, they were looking for a four-bedroom house. Yours is a three. They were looking for something with a swimming pool. Yours didn't have a swimming pool, etc." She said, "Yeah, Darren." She says, "But I paid you money to sell my house, not drive around with buyers all day." And I didn't know how to take that because that's how I was trained. That's how every other agent was trained. So at that point in my life and my career, I said, I really need to possibly develop a team and it'll give the buyer side and that. So I hired my first assistant to handle the admin role, which was my dad. He'd retired from the state. He's 83 now, still works for me now. We've been working together 20 years this year. And
How is that family business?
Absolutely believable. My dad is such a blessing to me. And if I could be just half the dad to my kids that he's been to me in life, I don't know. I mean, I can't hold a candle to him. He is just that type of person. He outworks me. He's always on top of everything. He measures our houses for our team. He does all the MLS input for our team, does all the floor plans for our team, does everything for our team as far as input goes. And he does all my compliance for me on my end of it to auditing files and all that. But he was my first assistant that I hired, and then I hired a buyer's agent to handle the buyers and so forth. And my buyer's agent first year in the business, we had so many leads when internet leads starting to get really prevalent and heavy and all that. And internet leads came out, and my first buyer's agent, their first year in the business, they did 7 million in production off of just buyer leads directly through what we generated for their internet. And so uh, it was just a great year. So that's how I kind of grew. And I partnered up with my title company, my home inspection companies, my mortgage companies. Those are my team members. And so I just, I appeared bigger than what I really was, but I was utilizing those service providers to help be part of my team because technically they have to facilitate the process as well. So that's how we did it. And just kind of grew from there. And so now I have, 30 people here locally on the team here locally. And a lot across about 420 in my organization through LPT across the United States.
Yeah. And before we kind of go into your team, one last question. Has there been anything that's come up in your real estate career that almost made you want to quit? And why didn't you?
Well, the thing is that there's always challenging days in anything we do, regardless if it's real estate, whatever career, every job or every career has its challenges and so forth. And so, yeah, there's plenty of times. I had one deal where rural development, USDA loans, in my area was if a property was even a millimeter below base flood elevation, it didn't qualify for that program. Well, the parish that I live in, we have parishes here in Louisiana as opposed to counties. the parish that I live in, everything qualified for rural development. So a majority of my business was behind. I lost 17 deals, and our average commission is $3,000 to $5,000. I mean, on the low side, it's $51,000 that I lost in 1 month as a result of those deals falling through due to that requirement. And so I was like, man, this is terrible. I mean, that's a lot of money, and I don't want to lose that at all. But I said, Darren, how do I flip that? So it comes down to, again, mindset, skill set, and daily habits. I flipped the script and I said, look, you got 17 that fell through. Let's go replace those with 34 more. And that's what we did. We finished that year unbelievably strong. And it's just mindset. You got to have that mindset to get through those tough times. Even when the market shifts, a lot of times, you got to have that mindset to keep going. And that's the thing. You just got to take one step. You take one step, you can if you improve 1% better every single day, you're 365% better at the end of the year, right? And that's a
Well,
win.
that math doesn't exactly work out, but I love the sentiment.
Right?
I love that, like, a little bit every day will help you get there. I absolutely agree with that. I'm also someone that, gets what I want because I set short-term and long-term goals, both of which are very important. Thinking about that, a lot has happened since the early 2000s when you started, specifically within AI. Is there anything that you see that's in the market now that could help new agents, or would have helped you back then? Is there anything that you suggest new agents don't do and outsource?
Yeah, sure. Well, the thing is, like, for example, it's all about people, process, and product, right? And that affects the profits. And so I use an app in my business called Productive.ai, which is for the iPhone. And basically, what it'll do is it basically is AI that listens to your telephone conversations and it builds you out a task list. So if I'm talking to you on the phone right now, I say, yeah, man, we need to really schedule a meeting to meet tomorrow at 3 o'clock. It's going to put that in the task list automatically for me, and I can go back and say, oh, yeah, I got to schedule that meeting to meet Nick. Or if I say, hey Nick, let's go ahead and plan to meet tomorrow at 3 p.m. at your house or whatever, it's going to put it on my calendar to meet tomorrow at 3 p.m. with Nick at your house. And so it really helps you not forget anything. And so that's an unbelievable deal when it comes to the process because you got so many tasks that you have to do in this business. So Productive AI has been fantastic as far as that goes. Get Martin is another AI tool that I use as well for scheduling stuff. So it basically I can just CC that person in an email. Hey, Martin, I want to meet with Nick. Find an availability time on my calendar. Boom, and it'll CC both of us in it, and it'll find a calendar and say, hey, Nick, Darren's available on these dates and times because it connects to my Google Calendar and goes from there. Calendly is an app that I use. I actually wrote a course called Raising the Bar of the Next Generation Realtor in 2008 when iPhones first came out. And it was all the apps to improve efficiency, effectiveness, and productivity by using iPhone apps and so forth. And so that's what I'm known in my area for, the technology guy and the guy that knoknows all the
I
apps.
mean, you tapped into the radio. Like, that's just like fascinating. You
Yeah,
sound like a very ingenious, kind of like proactive go-getter person, but also very disciplined, which is a really good combination, and it's probably lead to a lot of your success.
discipline's everything. Talking about goals a while ago, so ever since I graduated high school, I write down December 24th at 8 p.m. every year. I go sit in a room by myself and I write down 10 goals that I want to accomplish for the following year. And so that's just been that. I'm a big reader. I'm an avid reader. I read 30 to 50 books a year on average. And so I'm reading Tim Grover's Relentless right now. Just a lot of great
So,
books.
like, you read everything though, or is there like a specific type of book
No,
you
it's,
usually
it's,
read?
it's primarily motivational books, that type of stuff, business books, that real type of industry is what I really enjoy because I'm learning from that. I'm learning and I'm evolving my career as a result of that. So it's all motivational stuff type deal and just books on real estate mostly.
You gonna write a book yourself?
Yeah. So I got my next book. I told you I wrote that little the Raising the Bar, the Next Generation Realtor. But the next one I'm writing is basically it's going to be a book. And think of it this way: if this was the book right here, right, and you read it this way, it's going to be about 5 C's of real estate. You read it this way, it's going to be 5 C's of marriage. And you got to have communication, consideration, compromise, cash, and Christ to make it all work. So
That's awesome. When does it come out?
that's my 2 year goal.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Well, Luke, back to that. Okay, so let's talk about sold.com leads and your business. So, how are sold.com leads treated differently within your business?
Well, their priority, just like most leads are coming priority. We have a system called Speed to Lead. We try to reach every lead within 5 minutes. That's what we try to do. And sometimes it's hard because if you're on inspection or whatever the case may be, but we have systems in place to where I have a virtual assistant in Manila, Philippines that actually monitors my emails. And so I can see it when it hits my email. And this is disseminated to an agent that we have a group me set up through an app, right? And we'll say, hey, who can take a lead right now? Boom. And it's disseminated to that person directly as a result of that. So sold.com is really, I mean, those leads, whenever you're looking at leads from, and maybe some of the listeners are, a Google lead is great. Google's number one search engine out there, right? A YouTube lead is fantastic. But when you're looking at sold.com, even if I wasn't on this interview, when you're looking at the overall grand scheme of things of conversion, grand scheme of things of the viability of the lead working out, it's the percentage is unbelievably high. I think ours is I think we got a close rate of like 81%, if I'm not mistaken. And so of everything that we get. Now there's a lot of competition in that, so you can buy those zip codes. We recommend that as well. And so, but as far as the quality of the leads, the number of the leads, everything that goes along with it, it's absolutely a phenomenal system that really, really works. And it works a lot better and a lot more affordable than a lot of those other lead platforms as well. So.
Switch guy. So talk to me a little bit about your lead nurturing system. So sold.com leads are pay closing. A lot of times these leads aren't ready to close immediately. So you really have to build the relationship. Talk to me about the culture around lead nurturing and engagement within clients.
Yeah, sure. So we use the Brivity platform. So any lead that we have comes directly into Sold, from Sold.com. It goes into our Brivity platform. We have drip systems. We also have tasks that are set up in there to where we can follow up. And so another system that we use whenever I have a Sold.com lead, you'll see this. This is an app that I have, and you'll see my overdue tasks right here. Boom, for a lot of them, they go into this system. It reminds every one of my team members have that system. It's called Do. It's the Do app, DUE, 7.99 on the App Store. It will remind you every minute to complete a task until it's snoozed or until it's completed. So we put our people in there that we got to follow up with. That way we don't forget anything. So we got several systems and several checks and balances that are working. Do is working every time. We can snooze it to the next day if we don't reach them a couple times during the first day. Or we also have the system through Brivity that we use as our CRM when it's reminding us continuously ever. So nothing can possibly slip through the cracks when we're following up with any of our leads. But for sub owners, what we do is as soon as we get that, not for sub owners, sold.com, when we get the sold.com leads, what we do is we'll get that lead immediately make that phone call. Boom. If we don't get them on the phone at that point, we'll send them a video email. Hey, this is Darren James with sold.com. I noticed you went to their website and so forth, looking to possibly sell your home. I am so excited to connect with you today. Thank you so much. I just tried to reach you on your phone. I didn't connect with you. Just want to put a face to a name. I'll try you again later. Thanks so much. And then boom, try them again later. And then I call the next day or whenever the appointment's set, I'll call the day up to confirm that appointment. And we kind of go from there. So we don't let any of those fall through the cracks. We set ourselves up a little bit different because we're sending a video email. We'll also do a text message to thank them as well. If we miss their call, I have a system set up automatically through what's called UMail. And UMail will automatically send a auto-responded text message. Hey, sorry, I'm on the other line or in a meeting. I missed your call. I will get back to you as soon as possible. So there's no point ever in our systems that we have that anybody can be overlooked or missed.
Thank you so much for your time, Darren, today. Like, I really appreciate all the tips, all the insight. It sounds like you had an amazing real estate career. You've built a great team. And again, like some really unique points about you, your personal brand, your work ethics. Any final advice you'd give to our real estate agents and brokers in the sold.com network?
Absolutely. Look, guys, just follow up with those leads as much as you possibly can. Follow up with them every single day, and your conversion rate will definitely improve. Don't give up. This business is tough. And one last thing, if you ever need any help, please feel free to look me up online. Call me. I'm happy to give any advice I can possibly help you in any way I possibly can. It's impossible for you to be intrusive or any of that type of stuff to me. Always call me. My cell phone's available, and I'm always here to help. So thanks so much.
Yeah, I mean that's what it's about, community and helping each other and also like your message around like just do the work,
Perfect.
get out
Right.
there, do the work. I know you don't have any problem with that. Like and it's
Oh,
obvious because you've created a successful business based on that work ethic.
yeah. The only time success comes before work is in the dictionary, man. That's it.
There we go. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you as well. We'll see you soon. Good luck.